Welcome to another AEW Dynamite review for February 17th, 2021. And this was a pretty interesting episode of Dynamite. It moved several stories along. And it was one of those episodes where you didn't think much of it when you saw the card, except for maybe one or two matches. But when we actually got it, it actually turned out to be a pretty good episode. So this was that one, and I was entertained. Match of the night, we would get to that, but it happened to be one of the women's eliminator tournament matches, and it was a banger. But we'll get to that in a bit. We kicked the night off with Hangman Adam Page and Matt Hardy versus TH2. Matt Hardy wins it for the team with a twist of fate after a double buckshot lariat. Post-match, Page tells Hardy what he really signed, and then brings out the Duval mascot, whom happened to be Isaiah Cassidy. After he revealed himself, he jumped Page, stomping a mud hole in him, and this set up a match for Revolution. Page versus Matt Hardy. It is a big money match for a share of each other's earnings, which is something. It's interesting. Second match was the match of the night, in my opinion. I believe it's a first round match for the Women's Eliminator Tournament, and it was Serena Deeb versus a returning Riho. Riho has been away from Dynamite in AEW since around this time last year, February-ish. So she's been away for about 11 months, and this was mainly due to the pandemic that we are still in right now. Both locked it up to start. Both exchanged nice sequences early, but eventually, after Serena Deeb had her knee worked over by Riho, the match ended via Riho and Deeb exchanging a nice sequence of pins, and Riho got the 1, 2, 3. And she advances to face Thunder Rosa. And that match should also be a banger. I think the styles of Riho and Thunder Rosa should mesh well, just like they did with Serena Deeb and Riho. I like where it's going. Every match in the tournament has been pretty good so far. Even on the Japanese side, which I do have the results for. So on the Japan side for round one, we had Mei Suruga versus Yuka Sakazaki. And Yuka Sakazaki wins via a magical 450 splash. The second match up was Vinny versus Emi Sakura, and that was the match of the night for the Japanese round one. This is match of the night. This is my favorite one. Emi Sakura wins via a Blue Thunder Bomb. Post-match, Vinny disrespects Emi via a slap, so I see that leaving open a possible feud going forward in AEW. Should Vinny actually make her way back? Should Vinny make their way back to the States, or to the States, period? Third matchup, we had Maki Ito, a fan favorite, versus Ryo Mizunami. And Ryo Mizunami came out with the win. Ito gets a rock star entrance, and this match was pretty entertaining. Ryo got a flashy entrance as well, and Mizunami wins via tapping out Maki Ito with a choke. Not bad. And then we had the final match of the Japan side, round one. Aja Kong versus Ren Kodokura. And this was a good match as well. Ren proved to be a nice underdog, but in the end, Aja Kong wins via a top rope elbow drop. And there you have it for the Japan round one side. We will get the rest of those matches next week with Taz and Excalibur on commentary. Excalibur was pulling solo duty for round 1. Next up, we had Orange Cassidy versus Luther. Shenanigans were afoot, but Orange Cassidy eventually hits the orange punch for the win here. This match was mainly done just to give Cassidy a win, his first win in 2021. I thought we would get some Miro shenanigans, but we didn't get that. They didn't show up at all. It was just a match to give Orange Cassidy a win. After that, Team Taz called out Sting. There were only 3 of them tonight due to the weather, the winter weather. So we had Taz, Hook, and Brian Cage on hand. Sting comes out with his bat. Taz then said, why are you coming out with your bat? Be a man, blah, blah, blah. Sting, he tosses his bat to the side. He didn't need the bat. So he went at Team Taz, but eventually Hook stopped Sting with his own bat, and he used it to hold Sting from behind while the bat was at his throat. This enabled Brian Cage to get a hold of Sting, and he powerbombed him to end that segment. And it was nice to see Sting get physical, and he took a bump. This shut up a lot of people. No one really complained about this because Sting and Team Taz actually did something this time around. So kudos to everyone involved there. This should have happened a lot sooner. Otherwise, people wouldn't have been getting soured on this angle. We'll see where they go from here. We got like 2 more weeks to Revolution. So you got 2 weeks to tell whatever story they're trying to tell till the match. Next up, we had the Young Bucks versus Proud and Powerful Santana and Ortiz. And this was for the tag team championships. And I was really hoping that Proud and Powerful would win, because this would further tell the inner turmoil of the Inner Circle. This would further break them up if Santana and Ortiz actually had the titles, while Jericho and MJF were to face them for that Revolution, but that was not the case. The Inner Circle get banished from ringside before the commercial break. After the commercial break, the Bucks later hit a Doomsday device and then set up for double super kicks. They get a 2 count for that, or broken up 2 count. The Bucks later win via a roll up to Ortiz. I didn't like that because I wanted them to win. Post-match, the Inner Circle beats down the Bucks, and then Brandon Cutler tried to make the save, but he got caught and he got slammed on the ring entrance ramp. To the rescue. Eventually, the Good Brothers come out, but there was no Omega in sight. This probably will get further told on next week's BTE episode. Probably explain why didn't the Bucks are probably going to call out the Good Brothers on why it took them so long to save them. So we'll see where their alliances lie. Next up, we had FTR versus Matt and Mike Sydal. Dax and Mike started off with chops. FTR eventually wins via the big rig to Mike Sydal. And I thought Mike looked good, and perhaps maybe they bring him back for more looks, because I think they have potential as a tag team, the Sydal brothers. So Mike didn't look out of place. He fits right in. So this would give Matt Sydal something else to do. You have a built-in tag team partner. And we know AEW loves their tag team. So this would be just another tag team to add to the ranks. Post-match, FTR goes to cut Mike's hair, but we fade to black. And out comes the Jurassic Express. They appeared in ring, and they beat down FTR and the Jurassic Express were left standing tall at the end of the segment. Luchasaurus also has a new mask as a result of his horns getting cut off of his old mask due to FTR a few weeks back. Then this led us into the main event. Eddie Kingston and his family, the Butcher and the Blade, versus Mox, Jon Moxley, Rey Fenix, and Lance Archer. Once again, Rey Fenix shows out in this match. He looked great. He can do stuff that not many other guys can do in that ring. This guy's pretty much better than Rey Mysterio at this point. Jon Moxley eventually hits the paradigm shift on Eddie Kingston to win the match for the team. Post-match, the Good Brothers attack Mox, and Omega accepts the rematch clause that Mox had in his contract. And it will be an exploding barbed wire death match at Revolution, and this will be for the title. And this sent shockwaves through the AEW faithful, because not many of us have seen an exploding barbed wire death match. I know I haven't, but I've seen clips on Twitter through GIFs and stuff, so I have an idea what it might look like. So I'm looking forward to it. And this will surely get a lot of people angry because of the blood and guts nature of this, but AEW is not for kids. This is an adult game here. And a lot of people will enjoy this match because a lot of us did enjoy the Lights Out match. Even though there was mixed reception, it was still a good match. So hopefully we won't get any shenanigans coming out of this for the use of blood and stuff. No snitches, please. Things should be different in Florida. This will not be in Maryland like the Lights Out match was. So, good stuff. Decent episode, solid episode of Dynamite. And looking forward to next week's as well. I also have the ratings for you. Let's look at that right now. Look at it now. So, AEW had a ratings number of 747,000 to NXT's 713,000 with their 10 minutes of overrun time. So those numbers are a bit inflated on the NXT side. So there you have it. I don't have the demos and such. The money demo, 0.31 AEW versus NXT's 0.16. And there you have it. The AEW Dynamite review for February 17th, 2021. Thank you for listening or watching, and I will catch you with the next one. Adios.